Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel where we'll simplify Java concepts for you. Today we'll learn about char data type to store single characters. Let's get started. Okay, so with char data type we can see that Java allocates 16 bits or 2 bytes of memory for each variable, and char data type can only store one individual character at a time, and we can store any character inside the char data type. Okay, yeah, so if we just see a couple of examples, I'll show you. Yeah, so these are some couple of examples of how we can use this char data type. So we can store maybe alphabets, we can store even digits, or we can store some special characters like @. Okay, and these are those characters we see on the keyboard, and we always use a single quote with the char variable like we can see here. Okay, for strings which is one or more characters, we use double quotes always. So let's open Eclipse and see char data type in action. So I'll switch to Eclipse. Okay, now suppose I want to store the initials of my name in char data type. So this is how I'll do. What I'll do is I'll create two char variables. For example, char first name initial, and it is in lower camel case format. So this is my variable name. I'll set it to P in single quotes. I'll put semicolon, and then I'll create another variable called char last name initial. Okay, and I'll give it as G. Fine. And what I'll do is now I'll print them using println method. So what I'll do is I'll simply type this out. I'll do control space. I'll press enter. And then what I'll do is, I'll simply join these two characters using like this. So I'll type initials plus, and I'll do first name initial plus, I'll write last name initial. So what I'm trying to do is I'm actually trying to concatenate these two variables with these initials. So it looks like there's a spelling mistake. Okay. Yeah. So now this error is gone actually. So what I'll do is I'll now run the program, and here's the output inside my Eclipse console. For that I'll do run as and Java application. I'll have to save the program. I'll click on OK. So I'll see this output as initials PG. Perfect. So, and notice that we didn't add any empty space or anything between the two variables. So that is why we can see P and G as joined. Okay, now let's debug our code quickly and see what's happening line by line. So what I'll do is I'll simply double click on these lines 6, 7 and here. Okay, so what I'll do is now I'll press Command and S to save my code. It is already saved, and I'll do debug as and Java application. Okay, so it says confirm perspective switch. I'll click on this switch button. Okay, so this is the debugger mode that has already started. So what I'll do is the program is now paused at line 6 at the very first breakpoint. So what I'll do, I'll click on this continue button that I see here, and it will execute this current line that is highlighted in green color, and it will pause at this next breakpoint actually. Okay, so I'll click on this button. Okay, so what I can see is like this first name initial, I can see in this variables section here, and this variable section is just one variable at this moment, as we have executed only the first line of our Java program. And we can even find the current value of this variable first name initial by simply bringing the mouse over the variable name. I'll bring my mouse here. Okay, and it shows my initial as P, which is the current value. It's the same value as what I can see in variables tab. And what I'll do is I'll click on the continue button again, and this time variable section will now show the second char variable as well. So I'll click on this continue button, and I can see the second variable is now showing up as G. I can just bring my mouse, it will show me the current value. Perfect. And I'll click on this continue button again, and this time the program will end because there's nothing else after this. And I'll see the output as initials PG. Alright, so what we have done is we have defined two variables of char data type, and then we have printed each character as part of one string. Now, when I saw characters for the very first time, I had this question: why do you have to use characters? And in fact, why not just use the string data type only, which can store 0 or more characters? Okay, so what I'll do is I'll change all my variables to string data types. So I'll replace this char with string, and I'll replace this char with string. So we get an error now, because with string data type we have to use only the double quotes and not single quotes. That is why we are getting this error. So what I'll have to do is I'll remove this. I'll use double quotes. I'll put P. I'll remove it. I'll again use double quotes, and I'll write G. So my error is gone. Okay, now this time what I'll do is I'll again save my program and I'll run it. Run as and Java application. Yeah, and I'll again see the same output. So why not always use the string, especially considering the fact that string can store not only just one character, it can store actually millions of characters. So why just limit ourselves to the char data type? For that, I'll again switch to my whiteboard. Yeah, and we'll see a very important best practice. And that best practice is always use the smallest amount of memory possible. And we haven't talked about memory consumption in the case of string data type. Actually, string takes a varying amount of memory depending upon the OS and few other parameters, which is not really important to dig deep into. But for simple comparison between char and string, a char variable always takes 2 bytes of memory, and if we store the same character, say p, so I'll switch back to my Eclipse. So this same variable p as a string, it will take approximately 48 bytes of memory. So if it is just one character that you want to store, I would recommend use the best practice and use char data type instead of string. So let's switch back from string to char data type. So what I'll do is I'll do Command Z. Okay, perfect. So, and finally, again, I'll save my program, I'll click on run as and Java application, and it's working perfectly. So, and most important thing is, once your program ends, the memory consumed by these two char variables will be released. And this is because the operating system reclaims all the memory used by the program when it terminates. And it is very important to understand this memory consumption as well. And finally, before I end this video, I have prepared 3 small quizzes and 1 practical scenario for you that will strengthen your learning on variables. So yeah, here is your quiz. Have a look at this code, this piece of code, and think why we are getting these yellow lines just below each variable name. It's actually a warning thrown by VS Code and not an error. It's just that we have defined these variables, but we have not used them. So we can bring the mouse on these warnings to see the actual warning. So here is the warning. The value of the local variable first name is not used. So here is your quiz number 1. We have 2 string variables, right? These are 2 string variables and 1 char variable. Now, which of these println statements will actually print this output, John Doe? Okay. So I'll post all these quizzes in the video description as well, and do try to attempt all of them, and please post your answers in the comments. And yeah, it's okay even if the answer is correct. We all are learning Java, and always remember, an expert today was a beginner yesterday, and by making mistakes only, you will improve. Let's move on to quiz 2. So I have this piece of code. Yeah, so this is my code, right? So what I'll recommend is copy this piece of code inside your IDE, whether you're using IntelliJ or VS Code or Eclipse, you will get an error. So which of these is the correct answer? Find it out and let me know. And then here's your quiz 3. So this code will execute successfully. So it means this code is actually valid in Java, but there is a small improvement that we can actually look into it. So find out from these answers and again post in the comments. And finally, we have this practical example. It's a real-time scenario wherein you'll be required to make variables as per the data provided. You can even pause the video and try to attempt all of these questions, and don't forget to share all the 4 answers in the comments below and I'll reply back for sure. So that's it for this video. In case you haven't checked out my earlier videos, I would highly recommend you to watch them, as all these videos are structured and it's a full-fledged Java course from scratch. And all these videos also come with detailed notes which you can refer to, refresh on the topics, and I'm pretty sure you'll love them, and feel free to download them. And I hope you have really liked this video. Please like it if you found it valuable. This actually helps this video to rank higher as per the YouTube algorithm, and consider subscribing for more technical content. And if you're liking my teaching style, please do share it on LinkedIn or with your friends. And stay tuned and happy learning. Piyush Gupta, your virtual coach, signing off.